Hello and welcome everybody to 1988. Now, 1988, I have a specific memory about being a child. Now, it's funny because here in Wisconsin, I talk to people who are from rural Wisconsin. They're like, yeah, there's nothing to do here, so as a child, we got bored. I was in LA as a child, and let me tell you, it's boring as a child. It's like there are times where I was just like, oh, I'm gonna go ride my bike. You just ride your bike around in circles forever around the neighborhood. It's like, that's why ET was so cool, right? You're like, hey, riding bikes, woo, that's what we do. We ride our bikes around, and that's it. That's all we do all summer. It's an exaggeration. So 1988, you know, in the golf world, Sandy Lyle, famous Scotsman, won the Masters. Scotland, home of golf, Landy's, Sandy Lyle. So Scotland's cool, Masters are cool. US Open was won by Curtis Strange. And MacGregor comes out with this. It's a blade, and it looks similar. We should talk about that. Let's get this under the microscope and have a closer look. Here it is in all of its glory. Jack Nicklaus, aft portion by the sole, in script. And then we have this golden claret jug. Muirfield 20th. We got the 3 horizontal lines on either side of 20th. Beautiful. On the sole, MacGregor in script, and then we have the iron, in this case, the pitching wedge. Look at the muscle that's ever so slightly curved right here. You can see the curve right here towards the heel profile, toe profile. Look how thin and consistent that top line is. So lovely. It's so beautiful. At address, I mean, no complaints here. We have some diamond embellishment on the side of the grooves right here. Then we have the grooves. Beautiful, beautiful. The pitching wedge, obviously, a little bit more rounded than some of the other lower lofted clubs. Hosel is very clean on this particular one. We have the registration number here on the ferrule, 3 gold rings. We work our way up the stepped shaft. You can see True Temper Dynamic Gold. This is my sticker just to remind me the year. And then this one has a Cordy Victory Grip. Lovely, lovely. It is a beautiful blade on a beautiful day. Let's get this out onto the range. This club on the range looks like a beautiful blade. It feels like a beautiful blade. And before I tell you how I feel about it, let's rewind and talk about my childhood again. So, bikes. I have a living memory of tearing down a hill and I had pedal brakes, right? So you stop the pedals and then the back wheel locks up and you skid to a dramatic stop. If you take your feet off of those pedals like you're going downhill, you take your feet off those pedals, you're out of control. You're gonna wreck, or you need a mile to slow down, okay? So I'm tearing down this hill once and I'm gonna wipe out, and so I turn onto the grass because the grass is going to be softer than the concrete, so I bail off my bike, my feet hit, and my body just goes plop, splat, right into the grass. It didn't feel soft. It was just knocked the wind out of me, just, you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. But I'm 8 years old, so after like 5 minutes of gasping for air, it felt like 5 minutes, it was probably just a minute or two. I'm like crying, I'm like, ah. I pop up and I'm like, no broken bones, because I'm 8 years old, I'm made out of rubber. I'm just like, oh, no broken bones, all right. And 20 minutes later, I'm back on my bike, just cruising around the neighborhood. I'm bored. All right, now imagine that same setting when you're with your friends. You have an appointment to watch a movie that night. My mom's gonna take us to the movies. All right, sweet. What time? 7 p.m. What time is it now? And as kids, do you remember doing this? There will be some people who do, but there's this generation who has no clue what I'm talking about here. They would pick up their phone, okay, yeah, one of these kind of phones, dial a number to like the bank or various other places, that had this computer, and it would tell you the date and the time and the temperature. Today's date is, the time is 12:01 p.m. It's 12:01 p.m. It takes you a minute to get that information. What time is it? Now it's just like instantaneous. If you don't know what time it is, there's something wrong with you. And so, you say, oh, what are we going to do for the next 6 or 6.5 hours before we can get ready to go to the movies? Now, let me ask you a question. Do you want to go back to that? Should we just all like government mandate, everybody turn in your cell phones. We're going back to the old landline. Who wants that again? Not very many people, if anybody. Did you know this is doing that? Because Jack Nicklaus, 20th anniversary of his Muirfield win, okay? That's my understanding. If that's wrong, let me know in the comments below. I'm wrong all the time, it seems like, on this channel. So, he wanted this old muscle back design. He's like, remember those old muscle backs, those old VIP muscle backs? I really liked those. Can we make a new version of those? And he won the 86 Masters with that. Oh, wow. Huh. A great muscle back design. Before muscle, it's going to be maybe a slightly longer video. Buckle up. Before that, like during the hickory shaft era, one of the most popular styles of clubs were this diamond back, where you had these facets like a four-sided pyramid. And they were really popular. And then later on, these like muscle backs were, popularized. And Jack Nicklaus really latched onto this idea. And so this is a throwback to a previous design. Huh, interesting. So it's not original. So it has no merit for originality. So what's the point? Well, that's not what this channel's about. This channel's not about science. It's not about, launch monitor, spin rate, all that stuff. I don't, oh, well, this one gets 200 more RPM than whatever. Okay, no, that's not what this channel's about. It's about emotion. I'm going to say it. This is one of my favorite sets of irons. The 20th, Jack Nicklaus. I mean, what can compare to this? The latest, greatest technology from Mizuno. Yeah, scientifically, yes, you're right. But when it comes to like what grabs your heart and says, love me, this is the one that does that for me. No question about that. This is it. I don't care that it's based on a 20-year clubs that were coming out decades before. I don't care that it's decades old. This design, this idea was captured perfectly. And this is the quintessential bladed iron. As far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, that's it. Done. Nothing else to say in the video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. As usual, thank you so much to my patrons. I really appreciate your support. If you'd like to join us on Patreon, I offer general support. That means I post a few behind the scenes pictures and updates every month. You can also support this channel by visiting my Amazon shop. Get some sweet golf equipment on there. I am an Amazon associate. I make proceeds from qualifying purchases. Thank you everybody for watching. I am the Vintage Golfer.